I'm testing right now. I'm going to set up my camera settings here. Don't mind my muscle shirt. I'm at home, relaxing. Don't need to show up for anybody. I don't need to clothe myself or dress up specifically. Let's see. What do I like? I like that right there. Plug this in. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, that's a good color there. So, hello. I guess what guided intelligence. Malcolm has been a facade, right? My whole life, and when I died, how quickly you see the dream that we thought was a reality. If you have a glass of wine, go ahead and pour one. But I want facts. I want proof. I want honesty, and I want to talk real, tangible. Like none of this, like surface level law of attraction. None of this. You got to stay positive or wake up. Like yes, there's so much truth to that. But I want to kind of quantify the experience. I want to quantum jump. I want you guys to live your reality now. The destiny you thought once you could live. You know, in I don't know what it was, early 2000s. I was taken to a priest, a master, and they opened up this biblical book, and he said, I could tell you your whole destiny, your life story. And he's like, you got to pay me more. We showed up for a certain like amount of time, and he told me, he could have told me the day I was going to die. He could have told me the day I was born. He could have told me my tendencies, my thought processes. He did tell me that I was gonna drive. I have a problem driving without putting on my seatbelt. He didn't want to go into detail. He didn't go into detail. He didn't tell me specifics because what I think he wanted money, right? But he did tell me that I'm going to be driving without my seatbelt, and that's a tendency I tend to do. He didn't want to tell in front of my parents I drink and drive, and I drive without my seatbelt. And I ended up a few years later hitting a house 100 kilometers an hour and ejecting out of my vehicle head first. And I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. And I died. And I was on life support for 2.5 days that day. Whoever's joining in, just comment who you are, and if you have any questions, and if you follow my my channel, you have any specific questions, this is your time to go at it, and I'll tell you everything, whatever you want to know. How to forgive, how to manifest, how to attract, how to change somebody in your family, how to reprogram someone's mind. I love being challenged. I love being asked questions. I love people contradicting and bringing up scenarios and wanting to know facts and truth. Um, I want to tell you about changing your life's direction. How can you look at yourself one day, find out some truths about you, not realize your realizations and your your journey and understand circumstances, and then die one day and come to realize that you can take life into your own hands, that you are conscious creator. If you hold your mind to it long enough, you can bring anything into existence. Things that you never thought once was a reality will become a reality. Um, you know, I have people messaging me, and I have people who want to change their life and they don't even know how. How do you start? You have to start off by decluttering your mind. You got to forgive the past, and you have to see yourself fit in the world the way you're you want the world to perceive you. It's like they say, you have to be the change you want to see in the world. And you have to write down your visions, your manifesto, your vivid vision, your broad goals. You know what you want to achieve and why do you want to achieve it. Nothing petty like, I want to retire my family, I want to retire, I want to, my parents been working so hard, and so I want to give back. You got to put the focus back on you first. You got to make sure your cup is extremely full first and overflowing before you can want to give back. Once you start to do those steps and you start to do a lot of questioning and you do a lot of personal growth, it doesn't take long before you start to awaken your consciousness and your awareness. So the whole goal and the whole point is to self-realize and self-actualize with stories. The more stories you hear and you search for, the more you jump into things that you think don't serve you. Like, for example, an algorithm on YouTube might show destroy, your negative thoughts, right? And something is it will fight. You'll get a whisper saying, "Oh, forget about that. Like, we want to learn about mindset or podcasts. Why is negative? Sometimes we got to watch those things. I tested these things out. It's like my mind will play games with me, try to direct and control me, but you got to remember that you are in control, not your brain. Your brain has taken control of you, and you have to rewire your brain so then it can actually start to obey and abide by your rules. You have to set boundaries and rules, and you got to reprogram your brain constantly over and over and over and over again, like a crazy person that's so dedicated and so religiously um, about something. Like if you're religiously taking care of your skin, acne or whatever, like you got to take care of your mindset. as much as you take care of the little things in life. And you got to realize that you got to take your foot off the pedal sometimes. The more you're focusing on something, like I had acne when I was younger, and it wasn't going away for a very long time. And I decided to change the way I was dealing with my acne by believing I didn't need chemicals to deal with it anymore. I can self heal. I will actually stop putting on chemicals, and I'll stop using the medications, and I'll stop using the lotions and creams, and I'll stop, because if I stop it'll get better. So I changed the narrative in my mind. So reprogramming is going to be like a catch 22. It's going to be very frustrating, very weird in the beginning, especially if you want to get connected to your soul. And the clients I deal with are the hardest clients that you'll deal with, that have dealt with therapy and counseling and modalities, and just they lost trust and faith in the system, and they just don't go anymore, or they just go to the therapist and just think that they're stuck, and they just keep repeating the same cycles, patterns, and karmas. Those are my clients. Those are my ideal clients that come to me and that I love, because they start to deal with the frustration, they trust, and they come with an open mind, an open, positive, skeptical mind, because they're still sticking around. Not negative skeptic, right? At least be open. And these are concepts that will go over your head and look at me like, the frick is he talking about? Like, that's why you need to be here and question me and challenge me, so then I can work with you, because it's hard to talk to a screen. Um, because the things that I say won't make sense unless you've done a lot of deep diving and a lot of research yourself. Because I tend to do a different technique, a different style than Dr. Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins, Dr. Bruce Lipton, uh, you know, Jeff or Greg, sorry, it's Greg Braden. Those three, the trio there, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, and Dr. Bruce Lipton, they're amazing. You know, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Thich Nhat Hanh, Robin Sharma, everybody in The Secret, Vishen Lakiani, all these great minds. If you understand and can extrapolate that, then I can do it for you, and I can guide you fast, right? You'll understand better the concepts, and you'll take it into action. But people who don't understand that kind of stuff, but they struggle, I find it that's good. Only if you come with a skeptical, open mind, and you stick with it. You go through the pain, you go through the suffering, and you still persevere. Because what comes right after that frustration, if you stick it out and you come back, you'll have your aha moments and your wake up calls, whatever you go through. And it happens in life. Sometimes you have these nightmares, these dreams, these doubts, these failures, these dwellings, these compellings that we don't fulfill. Sometimes we have these whispers that die inside of us. Sometimes we have these things that we don't take action on. It's only in us when we're not pushing forward, but when we take action and execute on the little whispers, and we get into the silence, and we pick up on things that are supposed to drive us forward, like publishing a book, or going out there, instead of getting all these used cars when we're buying cars every 5 years anyways, and then we never think we can get a brand new 2022 six-figure vehicle. We don't believe it because we're so used to used vehicles or so used to Hondas and Fords and Chevrolets, and we don't think we can get into the luxury class. That's what my mind thought. I didn't think I knew how to grow plants, and I didn't know how to, get animals to speak to me or come crawl on my hand, at will. I didn't think I can heal my mind or my body at will. I didn't think I can heal my bones. I didn't think I can heal the bleeding in my brain, right? And these things are limiting us, but with the power of belief, then we can start to heal. We can start to um, prove what doctors are telling us and prove them wrong. People that are holding you back, that say that you are diagnosed, or you can't do this, you need your degree, or you need XYZ, you know but I love having deep conversations. I don't like having um mindless conversations or small talk. It's very annoying, low level. That's the person I used to be. And let me reintroduce myself to you. I am not the old self. I am becoming a new self. And we got to speak to ourselves like that each and every day. Don't judge. If I see somebody drinking a glass of wine on camera, in the past, my thought would be judging them, right? Thinking they're not good enough, or what kind of person is that, or you shouldn't be doing that, putting all my thoughts on them, projecting my perspective, right? But what I have done to change this narrative, we always have to change. So to change my judgments, to change my prosecutions, to change the way I judge, to change the way I drove on the road and I looked at people, my road rage, my judgment, my racism, my stereotypes, to change the negativity, I practiced in doses. So for example, when you look at somebody, and Dr. Wayne Dyer taught this, okay? And I put it into practice. I'm just the student. I'm just a student of life. I'm just a noticer and an observer, and I guide that and I teach that back. That's it. Every information is just recycled. If you do your own research, you will discover everything that everyone intelligent and who's changing their life is discovering as well. I would look at someone with road rage in the past and get out or race them or fight with them or start an argument with my family in the car. Very aggressive wrongdoings I used to do. I could lay it out in such a way that you will despise me and spit disgust. But I learned to change that. And I don't do that anymore because I used to be that person. So now I smile. I am the first to admit. I'm the first to accept. I'm the first to drop my ego, surrender, bow down, and obey. And I watch energy shift before my eyes. Right. So that's what is possible today, is that you change the way you do things, the way you speak, your tonality, your reality, your personality, your dialogue, the things you post, your content, all of this. If someone were to take note and they're like, "Oh, I missed it. What was the important thing that you said? Sorry, I'm missing it all. Like, you make no sense." I just pointed out like 30 things, which are the tiniest things the way you think, the way you look, the way you redirect your mind, the way you change, the way you speak, your tonality, your posting, your researching, the questions we should be asking, the power of belief, the names that I mentioned to research. All of that is the first baby steps into guidance, into guided intelligence. That's and then we would get into higher levels of awareness. I would You have to break down your patterns, your cycles, your karmas. Ask yourself, what happens in my life all the time that I'm trying to change? Man, I always get into an encounter with women, or I always get into an encounter with men, or with my dad, or with my mom, or my siblings, or my wife, or my partner. Ask yourself, ask yourself that seek change from within. So admittance, acceptance, surrender. Your brain will be like, no, 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 no. It's her fault. It's their problem. That's start noticing that and change it and take control. Use your awareness. Ask me for my subconscious reprogramming. I don't know where I have it. It's free, and I'll give that to you. I'll gift it to you. And that will teach you how to pay attention to your thoughts and how to rewire and reprogram your subconscious mind. And when you start to do all of these little things, then you can watch things outside of you grow, like your family and trees and birds and animals. And you can have the power to do things and manipulate energies. There's so many deep things, but if you're not researching, it's going to go over your head. Like right now, if I told you that let's work together, I'll teach you how to heal your bone. You'll be like, dude, like, whoa, that's far out. Like, whoa. It is, right? So I just I say things indirectly, they're vague because we need to do the process and the steps first before I say, because you can come, right, and learn something, but you'll come back and be like, it didn't fix my relationship. Thank you for helping me with my mindset, but my relationship again. Well, dude, we didn't freaking work on that. We didn't work on your sleep habits and your patterns, your karmas and your cycles. So you ask yourself, and I ask myself, what is it that constantly happens? Ego, blame, judgment. Fuck you, it's your fault. Honk honk, bitch, asshole. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What? Oh, like ego, such disgusting fraud out of me. And it's something to just look down on, like the way I would do things. So I would look at myself and admit and say and accept and surrender and drop my ego, obey, drop my pride and say, you know what, Malcolm? That's you. You are at fault. You change it. Don't blame. Don't look at her. Yeah, whatever she said, whatever she did, whatever he said, she did, whoever. You look at you. Then when I did that, then I say, okay, so what was the process? I was inside, and then I get, no, 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 slow down. What was the whole process? The root cause? Where does it stem from? You were in the grocery store being negative. You got into an argument with one of the cashiers or one of the representatives, and your ego went off in your mind, and you're like, I don't care. Remember, universal God is listening to you every time you say, I don't care. When you talk into your head and say, I don't care, forget her. Customer service. I'm in control. I'm the man. They should abide by me, or I got to have my way. I tried to live life that way. It sucked. I thought I was in control, but control was holding me down. And when I got out of the way and I let go of control, I started to see the results. So you have to start there. extrapolate. So I came visually, and I'm like, I was in the grocery store. I started this baloney and I did this in my mind. Fix that. Okay. But I played it all out. I played out the whole sequence after I messed up. Like, so I swore at the car outside, and then I ended up going home feeling guilty. I'm like, oh, fuck, whatever. And then I was in the process of wanting to change, but I wasn't implementing the change. So a few days went by, another incident at the grocery store. I'm like, I caught myself. I'm like, this is a test. A lady's trying to start shit with me. Humble down, drop your ego, obey, surrender, put her first, apologize. Maybe she's having a bad day. You're not the hero here. Nobody is. Love. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry, sir. You're doing such a great job. You know, I would feel like crying. I would love to start crying right now to prove to you or show you, but that's the vibration you get into. And, you just give this unconditional love, detachment. And when I started to do that, the whispers came clear and said, yes. I'm like, okay, I fixed that cycle, that karma, that pattern, that cycle, that karma, that pattern. What's next? I go outside. Oh, so far so good. Oh, Hong Kong. Oh, no. Don't mess this up. Okay, shoot, this usually happens to me. Pay attention to it in the moment. You can take weeks to keep rewriting your cycles, your karmas, and patterns. This is what I did. This is very, very important. More important than anything I've ever heard. Then what you would do is you would figure that out. Like, okay, well, you're in the car. What's your emotions? What's your feelings? You got to understand. You got to acknowledge. You got to accept. You got to then look at what you're doing inside your mind to your ego. Then you got to appreciate. And it doesn't serve you. So then you let it go. And then you have this awareness, this self-actualization, this self-realization. And then you let her go first. You say, I'm sorry. It's my right of way, but you wanted to go. You're more in a rush than me. Have a blessed day. You go. Then I changed her mood and I saw she didn't finger me. We didn't get into a fight. We didn't get into a rebuttal. She drove off and I sent a signal of, I hope this realization enters your soul and this can feed you. And next time you can become a better person. Right? And then I'm like, okay, wow, that karma, that cycle, that pattern, I just fixed 2. But you gotta keep up with it. Hold yourself accountable. I'm like, wow, I just fixed that. And I drove and I maintained that. Someone's gonna come fucking trying to honk at you. How long are you gonna stay there? You gotta fix everything until you're fixed. If you understand that concept, that's where you need to start. And this will set you free because you're looking within. We have to look within. Okay, here's another example. I would have tendencies to make my family hear it. I would make them hear something that they didn't need to hear without an ego, judgment, condemning, prosecution. Then I would start to think of those thoughts and feelings. And I would listen to my thoughts, appreciate my thoughts, respect my thoughts, understanding, acknowledge my thoughts. So the steps are quite simple, but who's willing to put in the work? And trust me, nobody likes putting in the work. Some people get highly motivated and are very successful at doing the work. And I've done a lot of work in my life. Even up until today, what I'm doing is work. But you'll find it becoming simplistic and easy when you start applying the work. And the work has a bad rap. The work is progress and growth and development and love and harmony and peace and balance. And it gets you closer to your soul's purpose, you know? And when you start doing these steps, you will start to clear your subconscious mind. Then you can start to rewire and reprogram your subconscious mind. So then it starts serving your conscious mind, and your brain then starts to work for you and serve you. It's like, which part of your mind are you feeding? There's an analogy of a angel or a demon, or a bad wolf and a good wolf. And the good wolf is, you know, all about, being easy and kind and gentle and, you know, comfort zone. And the bad wolf is like, I don't care. Let's go for it. Let's attack. Which one are you feeding? Right. But I like to call it the the mind that we're supposed to reprogram. That's not us. It's habitual patterns and programs and paradigms passed down to us. So these programs and patterns and karmas and cycles will enable us to rewire our destiny. We are destined for whatever is written because we're here as students to learn to rediscover who we are, so then we can live the life we're meant to live as spiritual beings. So we pass the test, we pass the lessons. And that's what I will teach you. What I've said in the past 15 minutes, if you just start there, and it's very simple. I talked about writing down your goals. I talked about writing down your vivid vision, your manifesto in life. And then I started talking about your karmas, cycles, and patterns and how to rewire that. It's the most important thing you'll hear in personal development that's not being talked about today. You'll hear it once or twice, but you'll have to dig and dive deep to those particular paid programming shows, Gaia TV, Disclosure, where the highly conscious awareness people, divine people, will only talk about when you pay for the paid programming. But what's most important than affirmations, what's more important than manifestation, what's more important than, believing it and seeing it in your mind and conceiving it, is the karmas, the cycles, the patterns, the fraudulence, and surrender and acceptance and admittance and obeying and abiding by being a better person. So in order for you to rewrite your destiny, you have to start off easy. You could do it while you're showering. You could do it while you're getting up from bed and you're walking downstairs. You could do it as you're looking at your partner or your kids or your mother or your father. I've had clients that say, well, how do I fix this relationship with my mother when I live with her? It's easier said than done. It's easy for you because you don't live with your mother to be telling me and teaching these things, because you don't have to deal with her on a day-to-day basis. I understand that's my circumstance. But if I were to have my mother living with me, right, I put it into practice, right? So I taught this client, I said, stop being in control. So you want your mom to respect you. You want your mom to abide by your rules. You want your mom to understand about your grocery shopping times and not to be so controlling on you, and stop being that hovering helicopter mother, even though she's in her 60s and you're in your 30s. And I said, okay, I completely understand. And I said, this is all you have to do. All you have to do is Thank your mom. Understand your mother from a childlike level. Go I did an inner child release technique first with my client for her to understand that also her mother has an inner child. And once she matured, I quantified her maturity level with her dynamic with her mother. She fixed a few things. Everything that she wanted, everything that she was chasing was being chased away. But when she surrendered and detached and accepted and surrendered and admitted and accepted into it with the least resistance, within a few days, without forcing, without asking her mom to respect or obey or nothing, everything she was complaining about happened. Her mom stopped being controlling. Her mom gave her her own space and freedom within grocery shopping and buying whatever she wanted, and had her space in the freezer, and they had a mutual respect for one another. I know a lot of content in the world gets good feedback, like because it has great visuals and it's so appealing. Um, and sometimes the things that will pass our minds are the simplest things to oversee, right? We're not going to pay mind or pay respect or pay attention to the littlest things. And and it's okay, but you need to understand that the most important things are starting off with the littlest, minute, tiny things. Start there. I'm going to jump off here, and this was cool, and have a wonderful day.